4.5D game where I have 2D sprites, but then it is against a 3D environment. And I really like this because it allows you to blend the aesthetics of two different art styles. So you can see this curved world and this camera is very easy to achieve with 3D. But at the same time, I like the aesthetics of 2D sprites as well. And I'm just going to show you another example over here. You can see this entire world is made in 3D, but all of these characters, I'm just going to zoom in, are actually 2D sprites. I posted this all over Twitter and it got quite a ton of views because I think that there's quite a lot of interest in not just blending of styles, but also how I was able to create these 2D sprites using AI. Most recently, I have been using a lot of Grok. And there are two reasons why I really like Grok. Now, the first reason is that it actually performs really well when you compare it to even things like Fable and GPT 5.5. And in some cases, it actually even does better than them. But I'm not really someone who really looks too much at benchmarks, because when you're making games, what really matters most isn't about benchmarks, but about how the models actually allow you to achieve the goal that you want. And so these two games that you see over here, I was able to build this in minutes, right? Iterating very quickly on it, just prompting the ideas that I wanted. And that's because Grok 4.5 is extremely fast. But the killer feature that I think a lot of people may not know about is that Grok Imagine is actually the best tool to generate art assets for your game. I have been working on a workflow that allows you to create 2D sprites for your game. This is a tool that I've made called Spriterific, and Spriterific works extremely well with Grok Imagine to create game-ready sprites. So all you have to do is just add the skill to your project, prompt what you want, and you will get your sprites ready to integrate into whatever game that you have. The other thing is that I'm using Grok Build quite a lot. This is like your Claude Code or your Codex CLI. And when you use it in something like CMux, the experience is actually really good. It has a really nice interface, and I just find myself spending a lot more time within Grok Build right now. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how I've gone all in on Grok. I'm using Grok Build for my harness. I'm using Grok 4.5 for the model, and I'm using Grok Imagine to be able to create all of these game-ready art assets. So if you ever wanted to know how to build games using AI, and that includes not just using AI to code the game, but to also create game-ready assets that you can use for a game, this video is for you. All right, so there are two real ways that you can get hold of Grok 4.5. You can use Grok Build, and it's now free to use as well. And then just today, they've made it completely open source as well. So you can get hold of it with no problems. The other way that you can get hold of Grok 4.5 is using Cursor, which is something that I use a lot as well, because it allows me to switch between different models. And I like it. I like the interface. And it also comes with a full-blown file explorer and editor. And so if you're the kind of person that likes to work within a IDE, you should definitely check out Cursor as well. It has Grok 4.5, and I believe that Grok 4.5 is actually half price right now. So now's the best time if you want to get hold and make use of Grok. Now, if you're using Grok Build, the very first thing you want to do is that you want to go to your Grok config, right? You want to set these two configurations, all right? So the first thing is telemetry, trace upload false, and then you want disable code-based upload to be true. Okay, the other thing that you want to do is that you want to go into Grok and you can do privacy, all right? And then you can say there's privacy opt-in and then there's opt-out. You can check your mode over here. And I think if you do privacy opt-out, this will ensure that you are in full privacy mode as well. Okay, so that's how you get hold of Grok. Let me just show you how things are over here. So it should be very familiar to those of you who are used to staying in a terminal and working with things like Claude Code and Codex CLI. But there are a couple of nice things that I like. So you can see over here, I've got my background servers running, right? You can see it on 5173, and then you can actually just look at the process. And I like this interaction that you're able to have with the mouse as well as being in the terminal. But the key thing that I really wanted to demonstrate today is how fast Grok 4.5 is, but number two, how easy it is to make use of Grok Imagine to create game-ready assets using the tool that I made called Spriterific. So let me just open up this project that we have over here. All right, so you can see here that I have this football game, and say I wanted to add in a new character. All right, so I just want a new character that is maybe a rabbit and a different team color. If you watched the World Cup, you would have known that England lost to Argentina yesterday. So Argentina will be facing Spain in the World Cup. So maybe now's a good time to see if I can create a new character in an existing game using Spriterific. As you can see on the left hand here is where I prompt to generate the assets, and on the right is where I prompt to do the game logic. So let's just say, all right, so what do we want to have here? All right, so we have a dog, we have a cat. So let's just say this. All right, so let's say, so based on the existing characters and animation sets that we have, I want to introduce a new team that can be selected. And I want you to use the Spritterific API skill to generate these assets.
Now at McDonald's, get a $5 McChicken meal deal or a $6 McDouble meal deal. They come with small fries, a soft drink, and 4-piece McNuggets. We're gonna need a bigger tray. Get more value with your meal deal.
Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher for delivery.
You say you'll never join the Navy.
Never track storms in the Atlantic or skydive as part of your commute.
Joining the Navy sounds crazy. Saying never actually is. Learn why at Navy.com. America's Navy, forged by the sea.
I want a rabbit, and I want them to be in the national colors of Spain jerseys. Generate all the animations that are required to match what we have exist currently. So I've just kicked this off to generate this. And the way it works is that it's very simple. All you need is to get hold of these Spritterific API skill, and it's completely free. And then once you've generated your API key, which I've already done, all you need to do is then just prompt your agent like I just did. So you can see over here, it's just going to go ahead. And this is what I mean by agent first. I've tried a lot of different sprite generation tools where you kind of type in the prompt on the web interface. You can use an API as well. But I think the problem is that I actually struggle a lot with writing prompts, right? And I think AI writes better prompts than I do. And coupled with skills, it knows how to make use of the best practices better than I do. So you can see that I just ramble here, right? I just said I wanted the characters to match the existing animations of the game and create like a rabbit in Spain colors. And that's pretty much it. And I just riffed. But it's going to be able to understand this because we are using to understand what I'm trying to do. And then it's going to use the skill to generate that new character. Okay, so that's what's going on here. So I'm going to use another example for this game that we have over here. So you can see in this case, we already have a character. So let's just say we want to create a new character for this game. And I'm just going to go into here. And I'm going to say that this game over here, I'm going to mimic a fresh install. Okay, so if you go to Spritterific, you can actually just copy this AI prompt to get hold of the skills. So you don't have to manually download it. So I'm just going to paste the prompt in here. And what it will do is that it will get hold of the Spritterific API skill and put it into the project. Okay, and this is the first step that you need to do. And I'm trying to make it as simple as possible so that you don't need to think about whether to download it or NPX or whatever. Just copy this prompt, paste it in, and it will be able to do everything that you need it to do. Now it's installed. The next thing it needs is a Spritterific key. So I'm going to do that right now. So I'm going to do create key. I'm going to do AI oriented tube, and then just going to get a key. And no, I'm going to delete this later. So it should be fine. All right. So I'm going to do env dot, and I'm just going to put it in Spritterific because I have a bunch of other keys in my env.local, but I'll just tell it to look at it as. So I'm going to say here, use the Spritterific API skill. I want you to generate a new character that I can then swap out, maintaining the same style of the existing farmer character, but make him or her look different. All right, so I'm just going to kick this off. And this is the reason why I like it to be agent first, because I spend all my time with my agents within my code base, and having to go to a web interface to like type prompts in or generate stuff, it just doesn't feel right. The second thing is that because I'm in the code base, I can ask it to reference existing characters, existing documentation, existing code, without me having to copy and paste that context into a web interface. And this is the reason why I think Spritterific is quite different in how it's been architected, and it served me very well. All right, so now we've kicked off both of this, and let me just show you what happens when this is going on. And you can see here, right, like the two runs that I kicked off, you can see that this island character, which has idle, walk, and run. And then for this, I had the rabbit footballer over here, walk, idle, attack, run, and hurt. And we can actually jump into it to see. So you can see it's done really well. It's gotten the Spain colors. It's got a rabbit, and it's already giving me the idle. It's giving me the walk, and then it's starting to do the kick animation, as well as the run animation and the hurt animation as well. And you will see very quickly over here, once it's done, you can just jump back into your code base and then integrate it. So we're going to just let this finish out. And you can see I've been using this pretty much for all my other characters. And you can see the cat character that we had over here that had the Argentina colors. And then in this case, this one should be finishing up pretty soon. So this is how it works. And this is where the web interface comes in handy because it allows you to see things in progress. But at the same time, you can also track the progress within your favorite test harness as well. Okay, so I'm going to let these two finish, and then I'll show you how to integrate it within your day. So you can see that both of these runs have more or less completed now. So it was perfectly fine. The walk side, original one, you can see that text, all existing animation sets. 2 minutes to get this in, and this is a much bigger code base because it's actually using my starter project.
Ideas move fast. Then reality hits. That's why I use Canva AI.
Hey guys, welcome back. What you see here is me using the Unity game engine. Now I know some of you are looking surprised because in the past, I usually encourage people not to use Unity if you're going to be using an AI agent to vibe code your game. But the reason why I'm showing you this today is because I did everything on screen over here in the terminal using Grok Build. I was able to control everything in the editor, including integrating the assets, updating the game mechanics, and everything else completely using my AI agent. I'm going to swap out the art assets for a second to show you what this looks like originally. And this is the original 2D template that comes along with the Unity game engine. And what I did was I asked my agent that you see over here to do a visual facelift and add in a lot of extra features. And you can see there's a lot of additional stuff that we have here. I was able to create brand new game sprites and integrate them into the game. And I was able to add a lot of little polish that you see, such as the particle effects on the screen. And this is all made possible only because Unity just announced the Unity CLI or command line interface. It allows you to leverage any AI agent of your choice, whether it's Claude Code, Codex, Cursor, or in my case, Grok Build, and you're able to connect and control everything within the Unity editor now. And this is completely free as well. You do not need to pay any subscription. You do not need to pay any one-time fee. You can just go ahead and use it straight away. And honestly, this is a great unlock because I know many of you have feedback that you would love to see games vibe coded in Unity, not just in Three.js or Phaser. And so with this release, I wanted to give it a try. And I think that we are on a path now where you will be able to very, very confidently make vibe code games in the Unity game engine thanks to this Unity CLI. In today's video, I'm going to show you what I did to install the Unity CLI. And then I made use of Grok Build and Grok 4.5 to give the entire game a facelift